On the day my fiancé got engaged to the biological daughter, I wanted to crash my car into the venue and perish with them. But just as that manic thought took hold, my phone rang incessantly. I answered. It was the hospital. "Miss Chin, you're pregnant." I killed the engine and sat there, stunned. Half an hour later, joyous music drifted from the auditorium. I started the car, turned around, and drove to the airport. From then on, the fake daughter of the Chin family vanished from Jing City, just as everyone had wished. I went to Nan City, thousands of miles away. After surviving a near-death experience, I gave birth to my daughter, my own flesh and blood. I never contacted those people again, until 4 years later when they appeared before me, one by one. The first time I saw Su Cheng again was 4 years later, at the kindergarten gate. I had just picked up Duojuo when a mother next to me suddenly leaned in. "Duojuo's mom, look at that guy across the street. He looks like that singing star. What's his name again?" I followed her pointing finger and saw him. "Su Cheng," the mother tapped her head. "Right, Su Cheng." I withdrew my gaze. "I don't know him." She was surprised. "Don't you listen to music? That's Su Cheng. The hottest singer-songwriter these past few years. He's won so many awards." "Oh my, to be honest, looking at his face, he actually looks a bit like you. You're both natural beauties." I smiled and shook my head, holding Duoju's hand as we continued walking. "Chen Shu." Unexpectedly, his voice came from behind. I ignored it and kept walking. "Chen Shu." Duoju looked up. "Mommy, is that uncle behind us calling you? Why is he calling you Chen Shu?" I shook my head and smiled. He mistook me for someone else. However, just as I reached the parking lot and was about to open the car door, someone grabbed my arm. I turned around to see a breathless Su Cheng. "Chen Shu, you're actually alive." His words were as acerbic as ever. Perhaps because he had run too fast, there was a faint redness around his eyes. I left Duojuo at a neighbor's house. Walking downstairs, Su Cheng stood with his hands in his pockets. "Why do you live in a dump like this? Which apartment is yours? I'll go up and take a look." I shook my head. "There's no need for that. 4 years ago, he was the one who said his only sister was Su Yan. He was also the one who said that being referred to as siblings with someone like me only made him sick. When I was expelled from the Qin family by Qin Sheng and cast aside by Lu Jin with nowhere left to go, I had thought of seeking out him, my biological brother. On a heavy snow day, I stood downstairs at his company all night, nearly frozen stiff. But in the end, all I got was his statement that his greatest wish was that I had never been his sister. If you hadn't been born, Sister Ah Yun wouldn't have been switched at birth and wouldn't have suffered so much. Sister? How laughable. The Qin family doesn't want you anymore, so now you're using blood ties to scam me? I will never acknowledge someone like you as my sister. That was when I realized that no matter how well I treated him, he hated me because of Su Yan. At this moment, he still looked at me with a scrutinizing gaze, frowning. "Is that child Lu Jin's? Did you run away just to give birth to his child?" I was silent for a moment. "It is my child alone." He smirked. "Qin Shu, that kid is a carbon copy of him. Do you take me for blind? Do you actually think that secretly having his child will win back his heart? Are you that love-struck? How ridiculous, simply foolish." I said, "This is my child alone." I interrupted him. "I never planned to return to Jing City, nor did I ever plan to use the child to fight your sister for Lu Jin. You can rest assured, there is no need to be so aggressive. Just as you said back then, aside from blood ties, we are practically strangers. I am not interested in your life now, so please do not dictate mine." He froze. "If there's nothing else, you should leave." I turned around. "Wait," he suddenly grabbed me. He opened his mouth, then closed it. "Use you." I frowned. "What? Why did you leave back then, really?" I looked at him quietly. "You were a pampered eldest daughter who didn't know how to do anything. Just because people said a few things about you, and you tried to copy those stories about running away while pregnant. If I hadn't run into you, how long did you plan to live this wretched life? And these past 4 years." He paused. How did you survive?" I looked at the redness, returning to the corners of his eyes. It was probably from anger. He was likely surprised I was still alive. My being alive was a threat to Su Yun's happiness. How did I survive? Someone traded their life so I could live. But there was no need to tell him that. The old Qin Shu had fingers that never touched harsh water, like a beautiful, fragile daughter flower. The current Song Shu no longer cried or begged others for support. Seeing my silence, he got a bit anxious. "Hey, why has your personality become so sluggish? Did that massive earthquake in Nan City a few years ago damage your brain? Running to a remote corner like this, encountering an earthquake serves you right. At this moment, a neighbor passed by and greeted me. Little song, haven't cooked yet. I smiled, I'm about to. Su Cheng was stunned. You should go, I said. But he gripped me tightly. Why did you change your last name? Song, did you get married? No, whose surname is this? Whose surname it is has nothing to do with you. I brushed his hand away, speaking word by word. What my surname is, and how I live, Su Cheng, are none of your business. Su Cheng was a celebrity. He couldn't be seen pulling and tugging at me in public. I went upstairs and brought Duoju back. Through the stairwell window, I saw him still standing dazedly downstairs. He had never cared about me before. His current dismay was likely just because he wasn't used to my cold attitude toward him. After all, 4 years ago, upon learning about the musical dreams of this poor, talented boy, I had almost exhausted all my connections in the Jing City elite circle just to find him an opportunity to perform on stage. Even his current agency was the best one I could find for him. He was my biological brother. He had suffered a lot, and I wanted him to be well. But that sincerity was twisted by him into a scheme to isolate Su Yun and make her suffer by using him. Mommy, was that uncle today your family? I paused slightly, then smiled and patted Duoju's head. No, why would you think that? I was just guessing, you look alike. Family. Qin Sheng's face suddenly appeared in my mind. I used to think that regardless of blood ties, Qin Sheng would always be my brother. But 4 years ago, he held the fallen Su Yun and looked at me with eyes full of rage. Qin Shu, you have truly disappointed me. From today on, the Qin family disowns you, and I do not have a sister like you. My only sister is Ah Yun. I cried and tugged at his pant leg, saying I wasn't the one who pushed Su Yun, begging him not to abandon me. But he kicked me away and walked off holding Su Yun without looking back. I shook my head. That person is not Mommy's family. She looked a little disappointed. I thought besides Uncle, Mommy had other relatives. I smiled and tapped her nose. Mommy has enough with just you and Uncle. But Uncle is gone, she pouted. I miss him so much. I understood her feelings. But mere disappointment is better than having something, losing it, relying on it, and then being ripped away. That kind of heart-wrenching pain, I've experienced it, and I don't want my daughter to go through it. I just didn't expect that the very next day, I would see Qin Sheng. Duojuo developed a high fever in the middle of the night. I took her to the hospital. The viral infection was fierce, requiring hospitalization for an IV drip. I didn't sleep all night. Early the next morning, the fever finally broke, but she was lethargic and listless. I carried her on my back to go home, stopping to buy some meat and vegetables from a street vendor. After paying, the bags were taken by a hand with well-defined knuckles. I froze, looked up, and saw Qin Sheng's face in the misty morning fog. Lack of sleep left my mind blank. After stupidly calling out brother, I realized he had long since forbidden me from calling him that. The Qin family was not one I could afford to offend. After all, to punish me for bullying Su Yun back then, Qin Sheng had blacklisted me from the entire Jing City social circle with just one sentence. Mr. Qin, I corrected myself immediately. I was pondering why he had suddenly appeared in Nan City. So naturally, I didn't notice the flash of ugliness on his face. I'll carry it for you, he said softly. No need. I rushed to take the bag from his hand. Unsteady on my feet, Duojuo on my back whimpered. Don't force it, Shu Shu. He grabbed my arm, stopping me from taking the bag back. I'll take you and the child home. Shu Shu. Qin Sheng hadn't called me that in a long time. The Qin parents were overseas year-round, so the old me was practically raised by Qin Sheng. When he treated me as his biological sister, Qin Sheng truly spoiled me. Someone once asked him if he wasn't afraid I'd cause trouble by spoiling me so much. He merely narrowed his eyes. So what if she causes trouble? If she wants to cause trouble, let her. Even if the sky falls, I've got her covered. But later, Su Yun returned to the Qin family. At first, he told me I would always be his sister. But faced with Su Yun's repeated difficulties, he always told me to endure. She has suffered a lot, Shu Shu. You yield to her. He said we had to compensate her. I didn't want to make things difficult for him. He had been my brother for over 20 years. I wanted him to be happy. So I yielded. I endured time and time again. It wasn't until he unconditionally believed Su Yun's framing of me that I understood. I treated him as a brother, but he no longer treated me as a sister. And when he withdrew all his kindness toward me, and I fell into the mud, accused by everyone, I realized how foolish I had been to rely on him. The journey was silent. I hadn't sat in a luxury car like a Maybach for a long time and felt unaccustomed to it. I just huddled in the corner holding Duoduo, wondering why Qin Sheng was here. Did Su Cheng tell him? Was he afraid I would hurt Su Yun, so he rushed over overnight to confirm? What would he do to me? Would he punish me for secretly giving birth to Lu Jin's child? I didn't know, and I couldn't figure it out. My head hurt, and I hugged Duoduo tighter, completely failing to notice the deep longing in the way he looked at me. Shoo shoo. I looked up. There were many more wrinkles at the corners of his eyes. 4 years ago, we all thought you. Thought I died, I know, I continued. Actually, you can just treat me as dead. I abandoned any thought of fighting with Su Yun long ago. Everything belonged to her originally. Returning things to their rightful owner isn't bad. You don't need to be nervous or guarded, and you certainly don't need to come to verify. I just want to live a stable life with my daughter now. Oh, my daughter will only follow me. I will absolutely not seek out Lu Jin. I can swear on my life that I will definitely not proactively use my daughter to destroy Su Yun and Lu Jin's relationship. You can rest assured. I looked at him and repeated, "You really can rest assured." He froze. I didn't. Then are you afraid I'll use the Qin family identity to do something bad? Don't worry, I won't. I changed my surname long ago. Shoo shoo, he suddenly interrupted me. His eyes were red. Brother wants to take you back. I didn't understand what Qin Sheng was thinking. I was no longer a member of the Qin family. He had announced it to the outside world himself 4 years ago. And what would I do if I went back? Continue to be Su Yun's punching bag? I also didn't understand why someone of his status insisted on following me into this 50 square meter 1-bedroom apartment. I put Duoduo on the bed in the bedroom, walked to the cabinet, and took out a box of tea leaves. But then I thought he probably wouldn't drink such cheap stuff. After thinking about it, I handed him a bottle of mineral water instead. His gaze fell on my right hand, and a trace of bitterness I couldn't understand appeared on his face. Your fingers, are they better? I looked down. On my right hand, the pinky and ring finger were paralyzed. This stemmed from an incident after Su Yun returned to the Qin family. Once, when I visited the Qin family factory with her, she curiously discussed a mechanical design with an engineer. To verify her point, she pressed the start button on the test equipment. At that time, my hand was resting right there. Before the accident, I was a rising star in piano performance. This was the only area where I outshone Su Yun. I wasn't as good at studying or as capable as she was. Only piano was something I could present with pride. When Su Yun first returned to the Qin family, whenever I practiced, she would look regretful. I've loved music since I was little. If I hadn't been switched, I would be able to play the piano now too. But I could never play the piano on stage again. I couldn't accept it for a while and was suicidal for a long time. I always felt she did it on purpose, so I couldn't control my hatred for her taking away my only brilliance until she suddenly committed suicide. After she was rescued, I instantly turned from victim to perpetrator. I still remember that day. Qin Sheng came back after seeing Su Yun, pinching his forehead, and said to me, "It's just that you can't play the piano, just 2 fingers. Did you have to demand her life? Even if you are a good-for-nothing who can't do anything, even if you aren't my biological sister, didn't I tell you the Qin family would support you for life? Did you have to do this?" Su Cheng said coldly, "If it weren't for the switch, the one who can play piano should have been Sister Ah Yun anyway. You're just returning what you stole. How do you have the face to make a scene?" They all told me my fingers couldn't be healed, and that making a scene wouldn't help. But later, at the celebration party for the patent Su Yun won with the mechanical design that crushed my fingers, I overheard the doctor talking to Qin Sheng. "I told you back then that if Miss Qin's fingers were treated abroad immediately for rehabilitation, they could definitely recover more than 90%. But you never took her. Now it's very difficult to recover." Qin Sheng replied indifferently, "It's good that Shu Shu doesn't play anymore. Ah Yun wanted to learn piano since she was small. Seeing that Shu Shu can't play, she feels more balanced inside. Anyway, I'll support Shu Shu no matter how useless she is. Whether she can play piano or not is irrelevant." It turned out that my dream, my future, was nothing more than a weight to balance Su Yun's inner feelings in his heart. When did I start fearing him? Probably from that moment. "I heard you are teaching music at an institution," he suddenly said now. I froze, opening my eyes wide to look at him. "I'm just teaching music initiation to little children. That kind of music is simple, so I can play without my ring and pinky fingers. I have no intention of returning to the stage. I absolutely won't affect Soo Yun's mood. I just need this job to raise my child. And the doctor said the damage to my fingers is permanent. I can never play piano well in this lifetime. Even so, will you not allow it? He was stunned. Shoo, I didn't. But I couldn't listen to anything he said anymore. The fear of having my life destroyed struck again. I couldn't lose this hard-won job just because Soo Yun was unhappy, so I desperately showed him my immobile fingers. Really? I can't play, really can't play. I returned everything the Chin family gave me. If you don't believe me, you can come break them. They don't move. I was your sister for many years. Can't you leave me a way to survive? He stood up in a panic, stepped forward quickly, and held my trembling shoulders. Shoo, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. I will protect you this time, trust brother. But how could I not be afraid? My life, which I had restarted with such difficulty. The life Song Chi traded his own to get for Duoduo and me. No, I pushed him hard. But the more I struggled, the tighter he held me. Having not slept all night, I couldn't match his strength. In the midst of the pushing and shoving, my vision suddenly went black, and I fainted. I dreamed of Song Chi. He looked just as I remembered him, standing in the courtyard of the guest house in the early morning, shaving by the sink while tilting his head to ask me, "Yo, isn't this our lovable little sister Shu?" Spacing out again. He had a scar on his face that made him look a bit fierce. I clutched my dress. I ran out of money. A pregnant woman can't find a job, can I? Owe rent for a few months. He laughed heartily. Is that all? Look at your worried little face. I thought it was the end of the world. Brother has plenty of rooms, just lacking people to add some life. You stay here with peace of mind. At first, he was just my landlord, a police officer who retired early due to injury and illness. Later, he became my brother. He was a completely different kind of brother from Chin Sheng. He looked rough, but his mind was more delicate than anyone's. He helped every tenant who encountered difficulties. When I first met him, I was sensitive and high-strung. He could have ignored me, but he keenly noticed my symptoms of depression and tried every way to make me happy. Little Shu, look, the swallow kite you painted is flying so high. Little Shu, have you eaten? Brother made too many steamed buns today, come help me eat a few. At first, I always thought he was a fool. I didn't know him well, and he was too nosy. But gradually, I grew to like him being nosy about me. Unlike Chin Sheng's method of throwing money at problems, when my delicate and arrogant bad habits surfaced, he would gently and restrainedly tell me what was right and what was wrong. When I found a job, he would be genuinely happy for me, drink 2 extra bottles of beer, and stick out his tongue when I scolded him. He taught me confidence, he taught me independence, and he taught me to choose my own way of living. He told me, "Little Shu, there is no day that cannot be passed." We met by chance, yet he gave me a real home. Until Duoduo was 6 months old, when the massive earthquake hit Nan City. The earthquake caused a fire on the whole street of the guest house. After saving Duoduo and me, he resolutely returned to the fire. I pulled at him, not letting him go, but he smiled and said to me, "Little Shu, brother is a police officer. At a time like this, I can't not go save people. Don't worry, brother will definitely come back." He always kept his word. But this time, he lied to me. He saved over a dozen people trapped in the fire. But after going in one last time, he stayed inside forever. I didn't even have a photo with him. He always said the scar on his face was ugly and didn't like taking pictures. Yet he took so many photos of Duoduo and me. I didn't want to wake up. I wanted to see Song Chi a little longer, but I was woken up by voices. The 3 of us looked for her for 4 years together. Now you found her but kept it from me. What is the meaning of this? That voice was Lu Jin. Su Cheng's voice also drifted over. What right do you have to see her? Lu Jin, we have a child. Based on that alone, I have more right than any of you. 4 years, did you know of this child's existence? Did you care for the mother and daughter even once? Chin Sheng's voice sounded like it was dipped in ice. Since you are Ah Yun's fiancé now, treat her well. My 2 sisters are not commodities for you to choose from. Lu Jin raised his voice. Chin Sheng, do you think you can control everything? If you hadn't insisted on punishing Shu back then, letting everyone bully her so she couldn't stay in Jing City, would she have left? Why did I get engaged to Soo Yun? If you 2 hadn't said Shu pushed Soo Yun, how could I have been disappointed in her and agreed to switch the marriage partner? You really believed it just because we said so? Su Cheng sneered. Lu Jin, didn't you just go with the flow? Do you dare say you weren't annoyed with my sister back then and moved by Sister Ah Yun? Besides, Sister Ah Yun is the true daughter of the Chin family. Only by marrying her could you better secure the Su family inheritance rights. Isn't that right? Stop saying my sister every other word. What kind of brother are you to her? When she went to find you, you deliberately left her out in the snow all night. If you had taken her in, how could she have left in despair? Why pretend to have deep sibling affection now? Su Cheng was unwilling to yield. Anyway, I am the one most qualified to be by her side. I am her brother, only I am qualified, Qin Sheng said coldly. I will take Shu Shu back to the Qin family. She and the child have nothing to do with you. Who agreed to let you take her to the Qin family? Su Cheng was furious. What is your relationship with her? You were the one who personally cut off ties with her. I am her biological brother, and I am the only one related to her and the child. Lu Jin, does an ingrate like you have the nerve to mention biological brother? Back then, for you to perform on stage, she swallowed her pride and begged so many people. When you became famous, the first person you thanked was Su Yun. Did you mention her name once? I am the child's father. We are the real family. Stop arguing. The patient needs rest. Only one immediate family member can stay. A nurse opened the door and scolded fiercely. I am her brother, Qin Sheng spoke first. I am her brother, Su Cheng also hurried to say. Mr. Qin, Mr. Su, the nurse paused. You are Miss Song's brothers. An awkward silence ensued. Me, I am the father of her child, Lu Jin said immediately. Then you stay, the nurse said impatiently. The other two get out. When I opened my eyes again, I indeed saw Lu Jin. He was sitting by my bed, looking at me motionlessly. Not seeing him for 4 years, he looked quite a bit older. I used to really love this childhood sweetheart fiancé of mine. 4 years ago, when the gauze was removed from my fingers and I was discharged, Qin Sheng and Su Cheng were both with Su Yun. Only Lu Jin came to me. Only he didn't blame me like they did. Shu Shu, silly girl, I'm here. I threw myself into his arms and couldn't stop crying. Will you be here forever? He was silent for a moment, then said yes. Maybe to prove he would, he proved it with his body that night. But in the latter half of the night, in a daze, I heard him on the phone, speaking softly and gently. You have to cooperate with the doctor, otherwise there will be a scar on your wrist, how ugly. You can't always cry at night either, you'll become ugly. I woke up almost instantly. I argued with him, asking why he was calling Su Yun behind my back. At first, he comforted me, but amidst my crying and screaming, he finally showed impatience. Qin Shu, the world doesn't revolve around you. Can't you be sensible like Su Yun? Besides, if not for the switch, she would have been my fiancé originally. Once the words were out, he seemed to realize his slip. He wanted to come over and hug me, but I pushed him away and ran out. We fell into a cold war. Perhaps he was long tired of our stable relationship of over a dozen years. The appearance of Su Yun, with a personality completely different from mine, was like a stone thrown into the center of a lake, stirring ripples in his heart. Later, when Su Yun falsely accused me of pushing her, he stood with Qin Sheng and Su Cheng on Su Yun's side. The rejection by those close to me convinced the entire Jing City that I was insane. A fake daughter, kindly taken in by the Qin family, yet ungrateful and attempting to harm the true daughter. Everyone said a pheasant is just a pheasant. Even if raised in a phoenix nest for so many years, it's still a pheasant. I became a rat crossing the street, despised by all. But no matter how I called or texted Lu Jin, he didn't reply. Until I found him and asked him brokenly why he didn't believe me either. He was silent for a while, then said, Qin Shu, you were jealous of Yun to begin with, weren't you? He told me to apologize. Rage went to my head, and I threw the water glass on the table at him. Later, the person engaged to Lu Jin became Su Yun, and I, blinded by jealousy and hatred, became less and less like myself. I didn't understand why Lu Jin had a change of heart, why Qin Sheng didn't believe me, why Su Cheng just didn't like me. I fell into a vortex of emotions, unable to walk out or break free, nearly going down the wrong path. Long afterward, after meeting Song Qi, I realized that I had actually been depressed long ago. Lu Jin looked at me with red eyes. Shu Shu, don't be afraid, I'm here. This time, I will never leave you again. He gently held my cold hand. Regarding the past, we misunderstood you. Su Yun fell on her own back then. It had nothing to do with you. It was my blindness. I didn't see she was so manipulative. I chuckled lightly. Lu Jin, you tried it out with Su Yun, found it unsuitable, so you decided to turn back and find me, the original fiancé. He froze. No, that's not it. I won't marry her. Only after you left did I realize that the one I deeply love is you. I will never leave you again, never let them bully you again. We'll go back to Jing City and get married. We'll give Duojuo a complete home. I froze. The next instant, I sat up abruptly. Where is my daughter? He quickly held me down. Don't worry, Duojuo is just next door. I looked into his eyes. Once upon a time, I was dizzyingly captivated by these deep, affectionate eyes, loving him to death. Lu Jin, Duojuo is my daughter alone. He was silent for a moment, then looked up. Shu, I know you resent me in your heart. Back then, I was momentarily confused. Later, I understood that for Su Yun, it was just pity, but for you, it is love. But I don't love you, I interrupted him coldly. He didn't believe it. You don't love me? If you don't love me, how could you persist in giving birth to my child when life was so hard? Shu, don't lie to yourself, you clearly love me so much. I suddenly laughed. Lu Jin, where do you get the confidence that I can't live without you? And where do you get the confidence that, after 4 years, just because you say you want me, I'll tearfully go with you? He was stunned. Also, I gave birth to my daughter, not because I had lingering feelings for you, but simply because I wanted a relative connected by blood. For these 4 years, I have never thought of you once. How is that possible? He grabbed my hand. For 4 years, I missed you day and night. Even when people said you were dead, I didn't believe it. I kept looking for you. We clearly loved each other, grew up together, so many beautiful memories. Those memories only make me sick now. His face went instantly pale, and his eyes turned even redder. You are saying things out of anger. Get out, I said. Song-chi said never to entangle with people who have issues in their heads. He looked at me in disbelief. What did you say? You weren't like this before. Yes. The old Chin Shu loved him, relied on him, and listened to him. But I was Song Shu now. Our dispute reached outside the door, and Qin Sheng and Su Cheng soon barged into the ward. Shu, come back with brother. I will protect you completely. Sis, come with me. We are the real family. I looked quietly at these 3 men. Once, they pushed me into the abyss. Now, one by one, they came dispensing charity and sympathy, asking me to go back with them. My brother once told me something. The 3 stopped, and a faint anticipation actually surfaced in Qin Sheng's eyes. He said, I don't need to rely on anyone to be a girl radiating light. Qin Sheng's face instantly turned ugly, because he had never said such words to me. So put away your savior facades. I, Song Shu, need no one now. In the days that followed, the 3 of them frantically investigated the person named Song around me. Song Chi's story wasn't a secret. His act of saving people had been on the news. He was a city hero. Every year on the anniversary of his death, those he saved would spontaneously go to sweep his grave. Su Cheng often came to the residential complex. I wouldn't let him in, so he stood downstairs, leaving many gifts for Duojuo and me at the door. He spoke much more pleasantly, even calling me sister. He even found out from somewhere that I liked flying kites and made a swallow kite to send over. Qin Sheng also came. When I wouldn't see him, he sent nannies and butlers and even wanted to exchange my apartment for a big house. He indeed had the power of money, which was how he used to support me, but the current me rejected it all. The most pestering one was Lu Jin. He simply moved into the complex. He came every day, trying to recognize Duojuo. After I threw a tantrum, he finally behaved and just watched from afar with red eyes. Soon, it was Duojuo's birthday. She had many friends in the complex, and had been looking forward to her 4th birthday party. Qin Sheng, Su Cheng, and Lu Jin all came uninvited. Since many neighbors and children I was on good terms with had come for the party, I didn't want to disappoint Duojuo, so I didn't chase the 3 of them away. It was evident they were pleasantly surprised. But just as the food was about to be served, a laughing female voice came from the door. Oh my, am I late? The faces of the 3 men in the room darkened instantly. I turned around. It was Su Yun. Su Yun walked in holding a gift box, wearing a luxurious Chanel-style dress and high heels. Auntie, you need to take off your shoes to come in, Duojuo said in a childish voice. Su Yun raised an eyebrow. Oh, little sister, Auntie and your mom are good sisters. The floor tiles in your house aren't worth as much as Auntie's shoes combined, so there's no need to take them off, is there? Qin Shu. Not seeing her for 4 years, she was still as aggressive as ever. I reminded her calmly, Su Yun, today is my daughter's birthday. I know, she sat down on her own, grinning with red lips. Otherwise, why would my brother, my younger brother, and my fiancé all be here? The neighbors were stunned, and the scene fell silent. She covered her mouth, her expression exaggerated. Oh my, don't tell me everyone doesn't know yet. Qin Shu, oh right, changed her name, Song Shu. Her child's father is my fiancé. I have to say, some people just have brilliant methods. Occupying my identity as the Chin family daughter for over 20 years, and even after everyone returned to their rightful places, she remained unwilling. She secretly seduced my fiancé, got pregnant, and now uses the child to hook my brother, my younger brother, and my fiancé. Su-yun, are you crazy? Lu Jin immediately stood up. Who asked you to come? Leave immediately. What? Afraid people will know about your affair, so you won't let me speak. I insist on speaking. If this were ancient times, this child would have to call me mother. She is a mistress in the shadows. I am the legitimate wife. So why can't I come to congratulate her on her birthday? Ah-yun, come home with me. Chin Sheng also stood up, grabbing her arm. Stop making a scene. I won't go, she broke free. Do you still count as my brother? She's not your biological sister. Why are you so good to her? Have you forgotten all the suffering I endured in the past? What exactly are you doing? Su Cheng also stepped forward. Today is Duojuo's birthday, we finally. Are the three of you crazy? Unexpectedly, she shouted even louder. I am Chin Sheng's biological sister, I am Lu Jin's fiancé, and I am the sister who suffered together with you, Su Cheng, for over 20 years. Are the three of you doing right by me? Duojuo was terrified and looked up at me. I tightly covered her ears and carried her back to the bedroom. Duojuo, stay in the room and wait for mommy to come back, okay? She nodded. Mommy, that auntie is so fierce, so ugly. I stroked her hair, stood up, and closed the door. In the living room, the neighbors had mostly left. Only Su-yun and the three of them remained. Her exquisite hairstyle was messy, and her eyes looking at me were full of hatred. Song-shu, you think you've won, right? You're very proud that they can't forget you and kept looking for you. I've really never seen anyone more shameless than you. A fake, where do you get the nerve to seduce them? Ah-yun, shut up. Chin Sheng trembled all over. How long are you going to keep this up? Lu Jin grabbed her arm. Come with me. Let go, you let go. She broke free from Lu Jin and lunged at Su Cheng. Ah Cheng, we siblings shared joys and sorrows for so many years. You've only known her for a few years. Why are you betraying me too? Su Cheng just turned his face away. Sister Ah-yun, you can't want everything. It was you who admitted to me personally when you were drunk that you deliberately injured her hand so she couldn't play piano, and you faked suicide to gain sympathy. Later, to drive her out of the Chin family, you even injured yourself to stage that scene of being pushed down the stairs. You hate her for stealing your life, but she is innocent too. Being switched at birth wasn't her fault either. Is it my fault then? Am I not innocent? All of this was originally mine. What is wrong with me taking it back and us returning to our rightful places? She pointed at me. You think she's so innocent? She faked her death on purpose and secretly gave birth to a child. She's pretending to be pitiful just to return to the Chin family. She wants to replace me. Why can't you see that? Enough, are you insane? Chin Sheng shouted sternly, his voice trembling. If I had known you would still be like this after I desperately compensated you, back then it would have been better if we hadn't switched back. What did you say? Su-yun froze. She looked at the other two, laughing as she cried out loud. You think so too. Her tears flowed like broken pearls. How can you treat me like this? How can you? I walked forward. In the past, I had lost to her tears many times. They said, Chin-shu, what you got should have been hers. She suffered too much in the past, you have to yield to her. But this time, she cried incessantly. Yet those three men all looked at me nervously. Shu, I'll take you and Duoju away first, Chin Sheng said worriedly. Don't worry, brother will handle this matter. I shook my head. I walked up to Su-yun. Our grievances had to have an end. Raising my hand, I brushed away the hair scattered on her cheek. Then, smack, she froze, covering her face, looking at me in disbelief. You dare hit me. I said calmly, Su-yun, the reason I tolerated you before was because I really did occupy your identity for over 20 years. Especially after learning that the Su family had lived in poverty and you and Su Cheng had wandered destitute, I truly felt guilty toward you, feeling I had stolen your identity and your happiness. But 4 years ago, I already returned everything to you. I occupied your identity, you harmed me, we were even long ago. I pointed to the three men. And these three are your brother, your younger brother, and your fiancé. I never wanted to fight you for them, nor do I care for them. But you came today and hurt my daughter. I cannot forgive that. I raised my head and delivered another slap to her right cheek. Her head was knocked to the side. These 2 slaps today were for my daughter. I don't want to be involved in the grievances of you four anymore, but if you dare do anything to hurt my daughter again, I will fight you with my life. She stared at me blankly, then suddenly turned her head. Did you see that? She hit me. She bullied me right in front of your faces. You still want to like a vicious fake like her. She was hysterical. Are you all crazy? This is her true face. Silence. You idiots, you will regret this. Crying, she rushed out, but suddenly missed a step and fell down the stairs. With a loud clatter, her painful groans came from below. But this time, those three didn't move an inch, just staring straight at me. I sighed. She's injured, you should go. But they still didn't move. I'm sorry, Shoo Shoo. We really didn't know she would come. Yes, we didn't know she would come. It's fine. It's good that we've put everything out in the open, I said calmly. Lujin's face went pale, and he reached out to stop me. No, Shoo Shoo, don't say it, please. I shook my head, looking at them peacefully. I, Song Shu, do not have a brother in the Chin family, nor a brother in the Su family, nor a fiancé in the Lu family. I am living very well now, much better than before. I don't need your pity, nor do I need your saving. Whether it's your belated guilt or love, it only brings trouble to me and affects my life. The only family I have in this life are Duoju and my brother Song Chi. Qin Sheng opened his mouth with difficulty, but Shu Shu, he is already dead. He surely also hopes someone can take care of you, rather than you struggling as a single mother. I shook my head. You are wrong. What he taught me was independence. So you can rest assured. I am not living a hard life at all. On the contrary, I am much happier than before. Su Cheng suddenly cried. But we finally found you. And you don't want us anymore. I looked at the blue sky outside the window. Yes. This time, it was me who didn't want them. I thought I had made myself very clear. But the three were still unwilling to leave. After the birthday party, they still came often, trying to change my mind and get me to return to Jing City. Su Yun really broke her leg this time, and after her scene, rumors that Duoju was an illegitimate daughter spread like wildfire in our living area. I submitted my resignation, preparing to take my child to live in another city. The principal of the institution was very reluctant to let me go. Teacher Song, although you are young, your evaluations from parents are the highest. Won't you really reconsider? I shook my head. I am very grateful that you gave me, someone with a disability in her right hand, a chance back then. But for my daughter, I must change environments. She thought for a moment and suddenly asked me, then would you like to go to High City? It's by the sea, the climate is mild, and children love it there. I'm preparing to open a branch there. Would you be willing to go there as the teaching director? After all, I really can't bear to part with a talent like you. I agreed. The day before I left, Qin Sheng came to find me. Shu Shu, there's no need for you to change cities just to avoid us. I smiled and asked him, then can you stop appearing in front of me? He was silent for a long time, bowing his head in pain. If brother still wants to do something for you, can you accept it? Holding Duoju's hand, I smiled gently. Thank you, Mr. Chin, but there is no need. Duoju looked up. Uncle, do you have anything else? We are going to see my uncle now. His face stiffened. Yes, we were going to sweep Song Chi's grave. I brought several brands of beer and sat in front of the tombstone for a long time. I told him I was moving to High City, that I was improving little by little, that my work was recognized, and that Duoju was being raised well. He would definitely be proud of me. And now, presumably, he could drink as much as he wanted without worrying about his condition worsening. The next day, I took Duoju to the airport. On the big screen at the airport, I saw an interview with Su Cheng. Actually, the person I want to thank the most is my biological sister. Back then, when I was an unknown singer, no company was willing to sign me. It was my sister who constantly helped me and encouraged me, making me who I am today. But later, I treated her poorly. I want to say to her, I'm sorry. Duoju pointed at Su Cheng. Mommy, it's that uncle who looks a bit like you. I patted her head. Let's board. After arriving in High City, my life got back on track. I worked hard, lived hard, and 6 months later, I was promoted to branch principal. Because the students liked me, some clips of my teaching were posted online, and videos of my performances from many years ago were dug up. People were curious why I didn't continue playing piano. Someone, I don't know who, leaked the story of how Su Yun caused me to be unable to play anymore. Overnight, the name Su Yun became synonymous with villainous on the internet, and she was abandoned by the entire Jing City social circle. Qin family stocks were implicated and suffered heavy losses. Someone also dug up Su Cheng's previous apology video, revealing that I was the biological sister he spoke of. Public opinion sighed in sympathy, and Su Cheng announced a temporary departure from the music scene due to poor condition. 1 year later, I took my students to the stage of an international competition, becoming a renowned music mentor. It is true I can no longer play complex movements, but that doesn't stop me from shining in another way. Lujin still comes often. He leaves gifts for Duojuo at the door, then watches my daughter and me from afar. I've gotten used to it and can't be bothered to chase him away anymore. On this day, I saw Qin Sheng again. He looked much older again. He handed me a key. I know you were saving money to restore Songqi's small courtyard. I have rebuilt it. Don't refuse. Consider it compensation from brother. If you like it there, go back and visit often. Also, he hesitated, the engagement between the Lu and Qin families has been officially cancelled. Lu Jin didn't get the inheritance rights. You know, his older brother has always disliked him. He will probably be miserable in the future. I sent Su Yun away. Her current state requires long-term hospitalization for psychological treatment. I restored your room to how it used to be. If you want to come home, you can at any time. I shook my head. Thank you for restoring brother's courtyard. But regarding the Qin family, I won't be going back. He didn't insist further, only saying softly, the room I will keep for you forever. During the summer vacation, I took Duojuo back to Nan City, to Songqi's small courtyard. Standing at the gate of the courtyard, time seemed to return to 5 years ago, on an ordinary morning. Under the jujube tree in the yard, Songqi picked up the painted kite and said with a smile, try it, little Shu. As long as you believe, it will definitely fly high. The me of today has indeed flown high. I picked up Duojuo and gently pushed open that door. Brother, I'm back.